rising, everybody. Winter is coming. Listen, winter is coming, and during this new moon, it's a good time to start planning, right? So you can put some things together to make sure that you're gonna be prosperous, right? So winter is coming, right? That means a lot of things come with that. So you have to prepare yourself, fortify your temple. That's what I'm gonna be talking about, right? And since it's a new moon, the new moon is all about fresh beginnings, new beginnings, putting the things aside, not aside, but facing the shadows and also getting yourself prepared, both emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, so that way when winter comes, you're good, right? So while everybody's like, yo, I'm cold, I can't eat, things are going wrong, SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, you are on point because you cultivated yourself in a certain way that winter is not affecting you. You got yourself stocked up. So if you want to learn, not even learn, yo, if you want some fire underneath you to get prepared to literally switch from lack of preparation to preparation, man, keep watching this podcast. Okay, so here's what I mean by winter is coming. Y'all ever watch Game of Thrones? Oh man. If you ever watch Game of Thrones, then you know is this. You know, during Game of Thrones, there's a season when the White Walkers were coming and winter's coming, and everybody got to get ready, right? And the whole town have to like stock up on stuff. They have to build their defense system. They had to literally pick who they're gonna let lead them during this time because it was a pivot, it was an important moment. So same thing is happening in our or in our life. Think of life being like the Game of Thrones because it is. It's literally a Game of Thrones. Literally, the world we live in is the Matrix, Game of Thrones. What's the other movie? The Matrix, Game of Thrones, and Hunger Games, along with some purging happening. Y'all want to hear me? Y'all want me to tell you the truth, or you want me to tell you good? Okay, let me tell you the truth. This is what the world is: the Matrix, Hunger Games, Game of Thrones, and what was the last one I said? And part the purge. So basically, that's it. Not to scare you, but this is for you to just get in touch with it. Part of every single new moon, you want to evolve, and to evolve, you want to face certain things as it is. One of the things that we have to face as it is where our society is. Have you watch the food in the grocery stores? You're like, yo, we're literally running out of food. You look at freight, you look like, yo, things are taking way longer to get to me. You look at in New York, what's happening is that they saying you need to take the shot in order to do anything. You need to take the scene in order to do anything. So what is that doing? People are getting more scared to do anything. So there's an amount of control going on because there's a power game. There's a game of control. Now, with that being in mind, we know that we need to see it, but we don't need to fear it. Let's say that again. We need to see it and face it. Listen, I'm seeing and facing it, but I'm not fearing it. All right, this is why we're here. We're talking about it because we got to talk about it, right? I'm seeing it, I'm facing it, but I'm not fearing it. I'm seeing it and facing it so I could prepare for it. It's a different mindset. It's a different mentality. So y'all keep tapping in with me here. All right. So the Game of Thrones, the White Walkers are coming. You have to find the fire. So I'm going too far. Some of you who didn't watch Game of Thrones, like, don't mess it up for me. All right. So first of all, you have to know the weaknesses of your opponents by knowing the weakness of yourself because you are opposing you. That's deep. You have to know the weaknesses of your opponent because part of your opponent is a piece of you called the shadow parts of you or the habitual patterns you've adopted so far that are causing certain coldness within you. So preparation is not just about how do I fight the system. It's actually not even fighting the system. Preparation is revolting against the systems that you've been using that's not working for you. So this is also really being truthful about some things you want to let go, you want to leave in the last lunar cycle as well in the last season. Now, we're in the fall season. Now, you could tell I'm conscious of the seasons. Why? Because seasons affect our cycle as humans, our development, right? So during the fall season, what's affected the most in humans, our organ, is the lung. So during this time, you need to do very active cardiovascular activity, letting go, the work of letting go, shedding off leaves. You see, that's what happens during fall, right? So this is what you should be doing. You should be making yourself lighter so you can, when you go to the dark side of healing, you can be in the light side of it. What I mean by that is you need to let certain go during this time so that way you're not, when you no longer have them, you're not grieving because you don't have them. During winter, there are certain things you won't be able to have. Now, I'm blessed. I'm in Florida, so we literally got fall. I don't know. It's not. We're not. I don't know how our winter is gonna be. But I'm not just talking about winter as the season. I'm talking the emotional season of winter, economic season of winter, and family season of winter. What do I mean by that? Winter signifies a change of rest, hibernation, so things can rejuvenate for the new year, a new trip around the sun. So at some certain, when there's a tilt, when we're farther away from the sun, and when we're farther away from it, it gets really cold because now we're in a winter season. The same thing happens when we're farther away from the light of in our lives in any area. Now, what do I mean? When we're farther away from the light of having finances, when our money is starting to deplete, we start to worry, how am I going to take care of my bills? Another time when we're far away from the sun, as in we don't see the light in our family, we don't see the light in our relationships. So it brings about a sadness about our relationship. So we have to also let go of certain things. When we don't see the light in ourselves, that brings about depression. That means, what do you mean we don't see the light in ourselves? So a winter season can be depressive because we don't see the light. We also think about all the things we didn't do. So what December becomes heavy because we're carrying the burden of what we should have done, we could have done, we didn't do, or what they did to us back then, back when. So we need to start releasing those things now, because then when you get into winter, you'll be light to be able to navigate. So your hibernation, you got to be heated up. All right, went really deep there. So let's go back a little bit. I'm talking about White Walkers, Game of Thrones society. So now here's the thing. White Walkers, Game of Thrones society, in addition to purging mentality, because there's a purge happening, you just don't see it, but you've lost some people close or second degree or third degree that you've really loved. And now that's because there's a purge happening. We don't see the purge, but it's happening. There's a Game of Thrones, which means there's a battle. Governors are saying, I don't want to listen to federal. Federal is listening, you better do this. Your job is saying, take this shot. You're saying, I don't want to take this shot. So there's a Game of Thrones happening, right? So what does this mean for you? You want to stock up. You want to prepare yourself as if there was a lot of chaos in the world, you wouldn't have to go into the Hunger Games to prepare yourself. Now, let me tell you this. Fortify and solidify your household, because that's the most important thing. Why do I say this? With ultimate courage and conviction, I tell you this. You got to fortify your fortress. One of the major things the best offense is really solid defense. The best offense is really solid defense. So you got to build up your defense systems. How do you do that? The first thing, your number one defense system is going to be your immune system. So your immune system is the number one defense system, because that dictates whether you are resilient towards all things that form against you. No weapons shall form against you shall prosper if you build up the immune system. No weapons formed against you shall prosper if you build up a structure around your household to make sure that when things go any direction, you can sustain and survive. Shout out to Zamora, right? Y'all make sure y'all check her gardening page out. Gardening is one of the major things I've been doing here, right? I've been gardening here a lot, and I've been having some plants. So you want to also prepare and fortify by having preparation. So if you were to get locked out in the house, just like it is, what's the game? Just like it was the purge, you would be able to survive. If you couldn't get food, if you couldn't get any food, you would be able to have food. So having like a hydroponic garden. If you go on Amazon, go to my Amazon shop page, you see that I've suggested. Click my link in my bio, sudden hydroponic growing tools, where you can grow vegetables indoors. You could grow leaves, you could grow lettuce, you could grow all types of spinach, all in water. So that way you have some food indoors, right? So we're saying that if you were locked in your house, you don't have to go anywhere, right? All you have to do is be able to eat that. You're able to sustain. You're able to have extra things that you need to heat up. Some people in the winter, they need gas, they need certain things, they need to fix certain things. You got a window that has a crack and it's really cold. You want to be able to do something about it. So preparing for the winter season is part physical, part emotional, part spiritual. It's not just one aspect. We have to think logically. We have to think in terms of our emotion. We have to think of in terms of communication. We got it. It's a broad spectrum. So here's what I'm saying here. It's not just I need to get this, and that to survive. It's just I also need to build a certain resilience within me to be able to thrive. So we're not focusing just on survival, we're focusing on thriving. What's the difference? Surviving is having all your needs met. Thriving is having all your needs met and beyond. Thriving is having all your needs met and being peaceful within the needs being met. So you can survive and have your basic needs met, but if you're miserable through them, are you surviving solely or are you thriving? So what I mean by that is, yes, you can save a lot of money during the fall season and buy the foods and have your hydroponic garden and do certain things to solidify something for your family. You can start a new business so you can have a new income source, all great tools. But if you're sad throughout it, if you're depressed and worried throughout it, if you're going through a lot of fear and anxiety throughout it, you are actually enduring a very tough season. And now during the January, when you want to start a new, and even not even January, as the season starts shifting, the year changes, and the seasons are shifting, it takes you more energy to even get in a new direction. So what if you can go through winter? Don't go through winter having snow fall on your face, you being buried 6 feet deep underneath snow. Go through winter like you actually what it is skiing through the winter. You got to ski through it, right? So while some people are like, man, it's too cold, I'm freezing, you have to learn how to ski through the winter. But the only way you learn how to ski through the winter is to learn how to ski in the fall. So preparation is learning how to ski in the fall. Now, it's just an analogy to say you learn how to navigate throughout the tough waters. Though I walk through the shadows of battles, though I walk through the shadows of the valley of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Thy rod and thy staff, it protects me. So it's fortifying a faith. Faith is one of the most important things. Why? Because if you don't have a faith, then you will be wavered. You will be pulled. If you don't have a faith in your ability to survive. One major thing about provision is that you have to understand God provides it all. So somebody says, well, I provide for myself. Yeah, you do. Who provided that of which you got for yourself? A creator. So all of this came about. The only reason you're able to get money or any economics is because there was a creator that created something for you to use. So you already abundant and blessed, right? So because of that abundance and blessings, what you now have to consider is this. What am I going to do with what God gave me? And how can I sustain my life based on what God already given me rather than really just worrying about everything? Okay. So now the new moon is in what? The new moon is in Virgo. Okay. And Virgo is associated with water. All right. Now let's go towards winter. Winter is associated with the element of earth. So now earth has to do with the kidneys. Actually, no. Earth has to do with the spleen. So now in the stomach. So a lot of people are going to be very worried. The emotion that have to do with the spleen is worry. So now during winter season, a lot of people might be very, very worried. So now, right now, your kidneys are probably, you might have a lot of things that you need to release right now. You might have a lot of fear about the future. And you might start to get more cold back here. It's this time you need to heat yourself up. I'm making a point with this. Maybe I should have I'm taking you all over the place. But let's go back to the White Walkers. Slow down. So much stuff. I'm trying to. All right, I'm slowed down now. Okay. So, kidneys. Associated with the element of what? Your kidneys. Now I'm going to share something with y'all right quick. So I just went to the Chinese medicine. I didn't even give you an introduction. And I moved really fast. So I'm slowing back down so I can, introduce you to what I'm talking about. So here's what's happening. There are certain emotions that are associated with certain organs. And when it's winter season, your organ that's mostly active is going to be the kidneys and bladder, because the kidneys are literally like batteries. Okay, so these batteries, they store certain energy. So they store vital energy that you cultivated and you saved up in the spring. So your kidneys have to do with what? It has to do with the battery levels, how much you charge yourself up. So now if you haven't detoxified your body before winter season come, you are literally you making your kidneys less able to charge up, because it has to work harder to clean up. So during this time, you want to do enough cleansing emotionally and physically so your kidneys don't have to overwork. Okay, so now you need to store as much energy as you can, so that way when you get into winter season, you're able to cultivate the heat that you're going to need to go through the White Walkers, called the struggles of the White Walkers of seasonal affective disorder, the White Walkers of a lot of things that happen in the winter. So basically, you know that fire would be the element to heat yourself up during winter. So preparing for winter is like getting wood in your house. And you're like, what is this wood? So now there are emotions that affect the kidneys, like fear. If you stay in fear for too long, guess what? You're going to start to have certain imbalances in your kidneys. So you have to release the fear and step into the courage. So come from the back to the solar plexus and get more courageous. You have to be determined and will to say, I got this. I'm going to fortify my home. I'm going to get ready. I'm not scared of the White Walkers that's coming. I got it. It's a different mindset, right? It's a different mentality. I say that all the time. So once you got that mentality, it's way more powerful, okay? So now, let's let's get to let's get to certain practical things you're gonna do, and we're gonna get back to it. Camera keep freezing here. All right, there we go. All right, so we're gonna go back a little bit. I took you a lot of places. So I'm saying the kidneys are gonna be affected during winter time. The lungs are affected during fall. All right, and then I had said something about Virgo being the new moon, being in water. Water is a very interesting element. And it turns out that that element is also associated with what? The kidneys. Very interesting. Very interesting. So now you want to have willpower, right? During this time, willpower. How can I be how do I, what the power of my will to push through the White Walkers of my own habits? You have to say, hey, I'm going to start to do certain things that I may not like, but I know it's going to be beneficial. It might just be like, I'm going to start working out, yo. I'm going to start exercising because that builds kidney fire. I'm going to start doing breathing exercises because that builds kidney fire, like the fire breath. I'm going to attend Rise and Prime and do that because that builds kidney fire. So now you say, I'm going to start to manage my stress levels so it doesn't go up to like crazy by this time, right? I'm going to start to balance my sex life right before that happens. Now, November is also what? What season we're in November? The season of love, right? This, what is it called? No shave. I'm not shaving. I'm not shaving. No shave November, right? And it's also what they say, big boy November. Get yourself a cuddle, right? Hey, I got that internal heat, so I got the heat that come from inside. Still heat you up. Don't need extra weight to do that. But whatever, right? Or what is it? What is the other thing? Is November is cuffing season. So cuffing season, that has to do with now, because we're going through tremendous time. You're like, yo, I need to get somebody to be along this journey with. Now, being single is much more from an economical, logical standpoint. When you have another person to work with you, you can navigate better because you got a support system. Now, if you live with roommates, you can navigate. If you have your family around, you can navigate with them. But when you're just a single woman or man by yourself, it's kind of difficult. So we make certain choices out of that need or desire to have a significant other. And some of those choices ain't really that effective or useful because we end up getting out of it used and more sad. So what a lot of people do is they get underneath certain people around this time that they don't really need to get underneath, but they haven't really understood or seen it that there's a cycle going. That's why I talk about watch the cycles. I say a lot of different stuff. So now you got to see, what do I do every November? Who am I with? And who am I trying to love more? Am I trying to get loved by others and not loving myself as I could be doing? So this is important. So now this means that you have a more healthy, balanced sex life. Now, it might mean that you can now would be a good time to look for somebody. It might be a good time to start dating, but do it consciously where it's not like your hormones are not moving up and down, which means you're not having sex stopping and then like having an emotional stagnation because you're sad and you eat your way out of it and then it's causing. So you want to be able to have willpower to also dictate who you give your energy to so you could organize your energy. In simple terms, like don't go around having sex with anybody, and at the same time don't go around getting in and out stuff and putting a lot on your plate when you could yeah. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. Sleep regularly, right? You want to make sure right now you're doing that. You're exercising, you're fasting, clearing out your body, you're fortifying yourself with affirmations and coming up with a plan. So one of the things during Rise and Prime today, I asked everybody was this. I was like, "Yo, what is your plan to prepare for winter?" And I mean, what is your plan? And you're like, "Why am I talking about winter during the fall?" Because we don't prepare for the season in the season. We prepare for the next season in this season. That's just how it works. The ants learn from the ants, my sluggish friend, is what the good word says. They learn how to put up the work during the fall, during the spring, the summer, and they they make sure they save enough in the fall to reap the benefits in the winter. They cultivate a lot in the spring and in the summer. They learn to reap and save in the fall to save for the winter because there's a season of rest. If we look at winter as a restful state, we have a different mindset. Some people say I'm stuck inside. Some people it says, "Oh, I have enough opportunity to go internally and do certain works." So winter is an opportunity for rejuvenation. With that rejuvenation, you need to also have a schedule and a way to rejuvenate, and a way to also combat how your body reacts to the seasonal change. So what I mean by that is you want to include certain things in your diet that's going to heat you up during this season. So you want to move towards soups, stews. You want to have more heated foods, more spices if you like spices. Some people don't like spices, right? So you want to also learn to eat more teas, drink more teas. You don't eat teas, right? Drink more teas now around this time. Start to incorporate spicy things in your, like for instance, ginger tea is very useful around these times. Start to do a lot of warm teas, soups. So you're gonna start to adjust your body to a new way of eating. Now, during winter, you wanna get rid of mucus forming foods. Mucus forming foods are foods that cause mucus in the body. This includes a lot of white foods, white dairy, white animal fat, white flour, white sugar, white salt. Any of these in excessive amounts is going to cause a lot of mucus in the body, which is very not good for a season where your immune system is because the body needs a balance of heat. And when that heat tips off to a certain level of cold, you are either too cold. Now, hot and cold is what's used in Chinese medicine to dictate your whether you're well, whether you're not well, or what you need to switch up. So you need a certain balance of heat within the body. Okay? So now, we cultivate heat by what we eat, how we breathe, and how we treat our bodies. Whether we indulge in certain stuff, the kidneys are also associated with indulging. Whether we indulge in excessive creamy food, sweet food, salty food, crunchy foods to escape our emotions, or whether we discipline ourselves to eat to live and not live to eat. So what do I mean? During this season, you might start experiencing certain needs, like the need for love and comfort. And did you know that and sweet and creamy affects that? Sweet and creamy gives you a satiety, which just means a satisfaction of having those needs met when they're not necessarily met. What do I mean by that? Sweet is associated with love. When you feel like you need some love, you want some sweet foods. Creamy is associated with comfort. When you feel like you need comfort, you need some creamy foods. Now, there are some ways you can hack that, right? You could make yourself plantain stew. I don't know if that's what it's called, but in Creole, it's called labui, right? Literally, you grind up a bunch of plantains, you heat it up, you could add yourself some almond milk, right? If you don't eat dairy, like the Haitians put carnation milk in there, cause but you make yourself with your favorite neat nut, right? You put that in there. You could there's other ways. The cinnamon you put in there. You could choose your type of sweetening. You could might be want to use agave or honey, or some people say I'll use brown sugar. I mean, whatever, wherever you're at, you could put nutmeg, you could put different stuff in there, and you got yourself a stew of plantain. Now you could be actually meeting the need of creamy and sweet in a healthier way. You get what I'm saying? So that's just a quick little tip. But I'm giving you a lot. It's about to rain, I'm about to go. But we have to be conscious. Now, let's say you want crunchy foods. You have a craving for crunchy foods. That means you may be very angry, and now you need to learn how to maybe start eating more crunchy vegetables. Now, your response to emotion should not be food to begin with, but you can put in your schedule a certain types of foods to fulfill a need that you know you have while you handle and release the emotions. So it's kind of like a lifestyle hacking. And if what that I mean is you know what yourself is like, so you train yourself like a puppy kind of to do certain, and you put it in your diet in a certain way to get yourself to do it, and to get yourself not to even have those cravings until you work yourself out of it, because you know it's gonna come. Winter is coming, which means habits are gonna come with winter. All right, and I'm telling you this because this is a knowing that I have about it. Winter is coming, habits gonna come with it. There's a form of indulgence that happens when you're stuck in the house. There's an indulgence when you're really cold. There's a desire for love, food, and sex when you're cold. So now we have to have a lot of self love. Self love is loving yourself enough to make the decisions that's gonna keep you healthy. And self love is also liver love. Self love is loving your liver enough, because the liver needs a lot of love. All right. So sometimes if you need the love, you might need to leave her to sustain your liver. That's just a quick pun in a joke, right? So it means that if she's making you mad all the time, bro, you might need to go somewhere. Message to all the guys out there. If it's overwhelming for you, it might be time to move on. Especially if she's not your wife yet. Go while you can escape. Just kidding. But anyways, so I just rhymed liver with lever. Okay. Now the joke is not a joke, but because I made it corny, it's more funny. It just worked, right? So, anyways, what I'm saying is we have to be conscious. So, what are some proactive things you're gonna do? Now, in the tribe, I'm gonna be sharing more proactive things to do. We're gonna be working on specifics. Here, this is an overview so you understand what's happening. But if you wanna do the work, I need you to come to Rise and Prime. This is when we put the plans in action. This is why I'm gonna show you the preparation to do it. Right? This is where I share the tools and resources with you. So Rise and Prime is where you wanna really be at, because we had a powerful session. Now, this season is about getting really uncomfortable, y'all. If you don't get uncomfortable, what happens is there's something about getting uncomfortable that adds fire underneath your belt. When you know the White Walkers are coming, you get your shit together because you don't want to die, right? So you also have to face the shadows in this season. So as we're going to a new moon, there are certain things that may come up. Don't run away from them. Face them and stand strong. Defeat them. But don't let them get you in fear, but understand that you can face this. You got this. And you got to say to yourself, I got this. I can handle this. I can push through all walls. I can handle all things. It's a certain resilience that you got to have. Another thing is education. You must educate yourself on what's happening around the world without fear, but for what's your next move. You have to learn what weapons are forming against you so you could do the things that will help you prosper. A lot of people, they don't know what guns they're dealing with, so they're fighting a spiritual battle with a, with a stick. Some people don't know that they need a stick, and they keep getting carrot and sticked. Keep. There's a concept called carrot and stick 'em. If you give them the carrot, they don't bite. Just give them the stick. One of them will get them to go. So it's like, here, $500, carrot. You get the vaccine. $500. I got a carrot for you. Hey, so I got a carrot. You want the carrot? All right, take the vaccine. You want okay? You don't want to travel, right? You look Cancun. Hey, you want Cancun? Yo, Cancun, right? You trying to go? All right, no pressure on me. ZB, no pressure, ZB. Listen, ZB. All you need to do you want to take this trip right here? All you gotta do, bruh, is this: take the carrot. Okay, you don't want the carrot? All right, I got a stick for you. All right, take your ass out. You can't work here if you don't. So we live in a carrot stick society, all right? And we can't fight certain battles with the wrong tools. We have to understand that we have to use multiple tools of navigation. And if you come back tomorrow, we're going to go more into this. But this is going to conclude today's podcast. Let it go. Don't let it go over your head. Extract what you can from this. And it's not about specific information. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to get the general idea. So because tomorrow is the new moon, today is a good day to do a a release. In fact, what I've been doing is I've been doing my lunar review at the end of the lunar cycle and the beginning of a new one, coming up with a plan for the new lunar cycle, not just the month. So that means that until the next full moon, this is going to be concluding what I'm going to work on. So you want to have a plan. I'm going to fortify my home by doing this. I'm going to fortify my family by doing this. I'm going to fortify my finances by doing this. I'm going to fortify my health by doing this. I'm going to fortify my body by doing this. Shout out to Colette, who said it like this rising, and allowed me to be able to extract this and share it to you, right? So this is an easy plan that you can do. Write this thing down of what action steps you're going to take. And I also need logic, not just emotion. I know you could be in the emotion. I also need logic. I know you can be like, yo, okay, you have, there are some concepts that's very important, like I just told you. Faith, the spiritual laws, faith, courage, effort, strength, all these things are very important, but the practicality of how you're going to navigate is also super important. I want you to focus on logical aspects of your preparation, as well as the emotional aspects of your preparation, mental aspects, how you're going to fortify and strengthen yourself every day. All right. I know I got a lot to say, so I say it really fast, but I know you got a piece of it. And there's a lot more I have to say and share with you, y'all, and we could only go deeper. So listen, if this was valuable to you, and you're like, yo, this is very valuable, there's more value to be added. You come with me 7 a.m. Eastern time on Zoom. You come to the Rise and Prime session on Friday, tomorrow, in fact. All right, so let me drop the link for anybody right now who want to come to the Rise and Prime tomorrow. It's free. You're going to be able to tap in, and tomorrow what I'm going to have is actually a mini workshop. I'm actually working on a workshop to talk about the preparation for the new moon, for preparation for the new cycle, as well as preparing for winter. So tomorrow, actually, I'm going to do Rise and Prime a little differently. I'm going to actually have a PowerPoint, and I'm going to talk about specific things to do. Okay, including saving, getting cash in your house, like all different types of stuff. We want to really implement and create a plan, and also do a meditation. So y'all go to let me write it down. Go to Rise and Prime, right? .co, and when you get your ticket, just let me know. If you're gonna come, just let me know right now, so I know I have a head count of who from the live videos come in the Rise and Prime, right? So y'all just go to riseandprime.com. .co, riseandprime.co. Go to Rise and Prime, and I gotta share this because I think it's very important what I have to offer, right? And a lot of people don't know about it. So if I don't share it with you, you're never gonna know about it. So when you sign up for this, you're gonna get access to a Zoom call, right? It's a Zoom call that will help, that would allow you to rise and prime with us. So basically, it's a way of cultivating, fortifying your temple every day before you go to work. So you're gonna do movement. This is the qigong. All the elements I'm talking that affects your organs, all these various things you can actually do preventive work to prevent them from being imbalanced. You get what I'm saying? So one of the major things we're gonna do starting in December 1st to December 21st is gonna be the winter solstice fast. So one of the major things that we talk about is fasting, juicing, detoxing, all of the things that will be very beneficial. So once you try out the Rise and Prime once, I'm opening up a 7-day trial so you can do it for 7 days. And after 7 days, you're gonna determine, yo, do I want to stay or do I want to go? So, but after all the value you're gonna get about detoxing, fasting, you're literally gonna get movement, mental health, how to literally massage issues out of your tissues, how to breathe and exhale emotions out of your organs, tapping into certain things that's really weighing hold on you, but you're not doing enough work to get it facing your shadow self, right? So tomorrow we're gonna do a new moon meditation, and also we're gonna have a specific PowerPoint presentation I'm gonna work on today to give you some tools or strategies on how to move on to this next month to structure the holistic lifestyle that's gonna kind of benefit you, right? Winter is coming. Man, I wish I had the Hunger Games sound. What is the winter sound? I'm messing it up. All right, winter is coming, but guess what? I need you to stand up, put your chest up. All right, I need you to get your chest up. Stand, if wherever you at, I need you to get up right now. Even you listen to this podcast, just get up. Have a certain have a certain aura about you. All right, this certain aura is gonna be like, I got this. Just like this, and do your fist like this, and just say that. Say that with me. Don't feel weird about it, for real. Don't even feel weird. Just say, I got this. I got this. There's no fear, courage, effort, strength. I can handle this. I'm preparing myself for this. Whether you're single, ready to mingle, whether you have another boo, and you're two, listen, you got this, right? Because you are not just the only person walking through the path. There is something about you that has sustained your well-being up until this point. You've had how many winters up until this point? And surely, my friend, spring do come back around. So that's the beauty of every season. No season is here to last. Now, the thing is, you need to make it out of the season. Now, how do you do that? You have to live a life. Just keep living. And you do the thing to sustain your life. But you don't just do things to survive, you do things to thrive. Living a life is not just surviving, it's thriving. So living a life is not just doing the merely things you need to do to survive. It's also putting in the extra work so you can thrive. So that means doing the shadow work, working on yourself every single day. If you don't work on yourself daily, you're not doing something right. 100%. So I have an opportunity. risingprime.co. You want to come do the work. In fact, just do it for the next 7 days. Just do it for the next 7 days and see how much impact that's gonna have. All right. So now, I was talking about the fall season way in summer. I'm talking about the winter season right here. Okay. A couple of other things that I will be talking about tomorrow on the podcast, you come back around, is this. So once you listen to the next episode, I will be speaking about creating a plan, restarting fresh, starting fresh, as is the new moon. I'm going to also be sharing some more tools and resources to fortify your temple. But at the same time, when you come back tomorrow, what I'm going to share with you is this: structuring your holistic lifestyle. Making certain decisions every day that's going to be very useful so that you don't get sick during the winter. Guess what? When the body gets colder, you are opening up doors for sickness. Okay? So, you want to have a level of warmth. So, you really want to tap in. And for those of you haven't yet subscribed to the podcast, man, what you doing? Yeah, I just got the podcast is now on Facebook. So if you go to Ed Talks Daily Facebook page, you can actually listen to it right on Facebook. That's pretty cool, right? But anyways, go subscribe to the podcast. I want to thank y'all for tapping in here to another Ed Talks Daily podcast. And remember, man, you have the courage within you to handle anything that life throws at you. You are able to navigate through any storm, any winter, any cold weather. Like, the winter season has come, but it has not come to stay. It has come to allow you to rest and teach you some things you need to learn. So that way, the new cycle, you're able to reflect and you're able to move on to a cycle in your creation and not recreation. In your creation, not recreation. Recreation meaning you're not going to recreate what happened back when. You're going to create what can happen then. That's my message. I'm sticking to it. It's the holistic motivator. Just reminding everybody here, Share your light. Share your doggone light, man. Don't hide it, cause you need the light when you're farther away from the sun. That's deep, right? That's very deep. You need the light when you're farther away from the sun, and the light is who? Who's the light? Who's the light? The light is you, and you are a piece of the divine. That's what makes you the light. So if you don't bring that out and seek for enlightenment by staying in your light, you're gonna be in coldness. The winter season won't just be a season, it will be a life that's cold. And that builds a cold-hearted, blooded person, and you don't want that. So you want to be fired up every day. You gotta have energy. You gotta wake up excited. You gotta wake up with positivity, with smiles, and you have an exuberance about you that says. And when you see other people, you say, hey, you smile, you live in real life. You look at the birds, you touch the plants, you walk outside barefoot, you eat your vegetables, you drink juices. You are conscious of the decisions that you're making, because you understand that the habits you're creating are also creating you. And because you know that, what you do is you intentionally create habits that's going to create the life that you want. And you don't hide what you have. You bring it out. You bring your gifts and turn your gifts into a business and turn it to profits. So you can have multiple sources of revenue, so you can sustain yourself. Even if your job says you can't work here, you got at least a little bit something that's going to make you a little something. That's my message, and I'm sticking to it. Remember, let your light shine. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. It's the holistic motivator here, you dig? I'm out. Listen, Rise and Prime, I don't see you there. I don't know what to say, man. Peace.